Yes, people. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another edition of the ManDem United podcast, brought to you by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. And the ManDem United podcast is the podcast dedicated to all things Manchester United. And we've actually got some news to talk about as well. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, I'm joined by the special guest host on Tuesdays, Ivorian. Mr. Red United TV is in the building. What you telling me, Ivorian? You good?
Yes, Flawless, man's good, man. It's actually a date for us to start smiling now. You know, you can see the smile on my face as the sun is shining right outside the building. You get me, bro? It is a beautiful Tuesday right now. If everything goes as planned, it will definitely be a beautiful Tuesday. Big up to everyone that's tuning in. Welcome to everyone that's here. Smash that like button. But Flawless, what are you telling me, dog?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Not only is it good news for United, it's good news for the show as well. We have a very special guest in the building as well. I think one of the only guys I know, that has more titles than me. Like I said, he's a content creator, he's a radio host, he's a DJ, producer. Could probably get you a name change for the right price. Welcome to the show. My lad Kovu is in the building. What are you telling me, man? You good?
The sooner I get it, I'll be able to see it soon. Name changes soon enough. How are you doing, guys? We all good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Ivorian meet Kovu, Kovu meet Ivorian. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
I'm excited. It's been a while.
Yeah, man, it's been a minute. Obviously, returning guest, but yeah, man, I've been meaning to get you back on. So I was like, you know what? Let me shout Kovu. We haven't spoke in a long time. I can't even remember the last time we spoke.
Yeah,
it was definitely during the season.
Directly after one of these shows, man. I think it was directly after one of them.
Yeah, definitely was 100%. But all right, let's get to it. But before we do, actually, big up everyone in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share it across our socials. Subscribe to the channel and keep your comments and questions Manchester United related. And it seems we've got deals going on, people. It seems Manchester United are finally making moves. Not only does it look like we're moving forward with the De Jong deal, we're out here hijacking deals as well. That's what it seems to be. We're out here actually flexing muscle and moving like Manchester United. I mean, like, yo, this is our player. So we'll go to you first on that, Kovu. You can start with the De Jong deal or the fullback. I think you pronounce his name MALACIA. I'm going to just call him Tyrell so I don't butcher it. But whichever one you want.
Yeah, I mean, the De Jong one, obviously, as every United fan currently feels, this is one. I hate to be pessimistic from the jump, but it's difficult to get super excited about it purely because it's been going on for so long. When the name first pops up, you are super excited. I'm happy it is looking like it's finally over the line. And still with a fair amount of time in pre-season for that sort of pattern of play and the idea behind why he's being signed actually being put into what's going on. So they've got enough time to actually get the training going for it. And that's such an important thing. There's such an issue with deadline day signings in that regard because it takes about 2-3 months for them to settle in. At least they've got the pre-season to work in with De Jong, and hopefully that's going to be done over the next couple of days, maybe a week or so. You never know with United. But again, with MALACIA, it's a player I won't lie, I don't know too much about. The fact that it's a deal we're hijacking is probably a good thing to begin with. There's at least someone else interested. It's not authorized like it normally is. And it still takes about 3.5 years to get a deal over a line. But it looks good. I mean, again, I've always had quite a lot of faith in the Dutch league imports. I've always said like Portugal, Belgium, and Holland are the three that I tend to trust the most in regards to players coming in. Because I don't know whether it's a style of play type of thing. I don't know whether it's just like a mentality sort of thing, but in general, they tend to be moderately successful imports. They may not be world beaters, but they do tend to be moderately successful imports when they do come in. They're like decent, like squad additions. Again, the only bizarre thing on this, he's a left back, isn't he? From what I can see.
Yes, he's a left back. Yes, because I watched him in the. I'm like you. I don't know a lot about him, but he did play in the Conference League final. So that's the only time I've actually watched him and seen him play because we was linked with him back then. And I was like, this is the left back. But okay, but yeah, go on, carry on, Kovu.
Okay, so yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd say out of every position we have on the pitch at United, I'd say left back is probably the one where we have the two best overall options out of everywhere on that we currently have on the pitch, apart from maybe in goal. I'd probably say that left back is probably the one position where we do have two players that can do it to at least a half decent standard.
You know what? The fact that you may be right and I don't rate either of our left backs goes to show where we're at. Because I was thinking and I'm like, are you wilding? And I'm like, you actually might be right there. And that goes to show.
If we're talking like depth in positions, like left wing, right wing has been up in the air ever since. But I still stand by the thing that Valencia is the last right winger we signed, which is absolutely crazy when you break it down. I think that it's a cool player to bring in. It sounds like it's going to be a decent player to kind of add to what's going on. It's just a weird one more than anything else because it's the position I would actually strengthen last. Despite the fact I think Telej is woeful. I think he's one of the worst signings United have brought in a long period of time. And I do still think Shaw has it in him to be a very good left back. He just needs consistency and he needs to be coached properly. I think it's obviously players coming in is always going to be refreshing. Whether this means we see Telej move up the pitch, whether it means we see Shaw tuck inside as one of the centre-back options and maybe we dip into a free at some point. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of Ten Hag systems like to an absolute T. But I don't think we're going to be getting rid of either Telej or Shaw this summer. So it means we have 3 either left backs or left wing backs on the cards now. I don't know. I don't know where this actually leaves the squad, if I'm being entirely honest.
You made some interesting points there. Over to you, Ivorian, your thoughts. So let's say hypothetically this does happen because I'm tired of Shaw, I'm tired of Telej. Like Kovu said, I don't know a lot about him. I've legit seen him play once, and I'm like, get him in. You know what I'm saying? And that he can't be worse than what we have, and that's pretty much my whole thought process during this whole transfer window. Ivorian, we speak weekly. Anytime we get linked with a player, I'm like, get him in. He can't be worse than what we have. He's got to be some form of improvement. I don't know anything about him like that. I swear down. I don't know if he's better attacking. I don't know if he's better defensively, but I'm like, he is better 110% than what we have. But get him in. But your thoughts, Ivorian, talk to us.
First of all, let's start off with the young situation because it's been a long time coming. And we've all been screaming and aching and agony and wondering what the hell is going on at Manchester United. We haven't signed one single player. But yeah, I always told everyone, tranquille, calm down, guys. Manchester United want to get everything right to a T. We want to get our first choice, not our second choice, not our third choice, but our first choice signing that can go straight into the first team. And we all know Manchester United will dwell. And big signings like this do take time. It doesn't take 2 days, 3 hours. It takes times of negotiation, and some stuff will be said during negotiation. But again, guys, the most important thing, we got our top target out the way. Since we got the top target out the way, now you can see the rest just fall in place. You've seen it already, a hijack in the move. This De Jong deal was very important for the way Ten Hag wants to play. I said it before, you need to build your foundation. If the front doorstep is uneven, nothing will work when you enter that household. It's already a bad sign when you're entering that household. So yes, I'm just happy about it. But regarding the left back, finally, yes, I like the bullish tactic that Manchester United used. They looked at Leon and said, "What size are you, fam? I like those shoes, They're my shoes right now, you get me?" That's how I felt like. It just feels nice that Manchester United want to go into that room and start bullying everyone, stick their chest up and say, "That's my shoes now, man. That's me, that's mine, put it on my doorstep right now." But yeah, I've seen a little bit of the player during the UEFA Conference League final. Decent player, looks good going forward, very strong going forward. Good on the ball, skillful as well, can create chances and score some chances as well. So we're looking at a good prospect. Dutch players as well as a fullback, you can never go wrong with a Dutch player as well. There's not that much times I've said, there's been a failure of a Dutch player. There's only a few you can say for Manchester United, such as, the Memphis Depay. Daley Blind is a bit of a 50-50. And as well, I can't remember the rest. But and if Van Persie was a hit.
I think Butner's the other one, I think, in recent times.
Alex Butner, yes.
I forgot about Butner, you taking it back. I forgot about Butner.
Way back. But I got to say, I'm quite pleased with the fact that, me, I've had enough of Luke Shaw and I've had enough of Alex Telles. I want a real left back. And it's been years. And I said it before. Kovu said it as well. The last time we've ever had a right back, a left back was probably as good as Antonio Valencia and Ashley Young. And they were makeshift left backs and right backs.
I still get nightmares about Ashley Young, bro.
Yeah, we still do, man. We really do. But it's just that we've seen so many years of absentees of no consistency from the left flank and the right flank. It's good to see someone that's going to have a full heart, not half-hearted as Luke Shaw is when it comes to attacking the spaces and running down the wing, because I've seen it with Luke Shaw. Sometimes he goes for it. Sometimes he just says, you know what, I'm okay today. But yeah, man, I'm ecstatic, man. I'm just looking forward to the next signing. I am. It's about time.
The chat is saying it there, Mr. E says, haven't seen Ivorian.
I don't know if that is slander.
Harry Maguire came in.
But I don't think anyone smiled when we signed. Actually, I kind of did. I even called him captain, future captain. And look what happened.
This is the most jovial we've been in a minute still. Like, this is the most upbeat I've actually seen our fan base, like, in a while. Obviously, Ten Hag landed has helped, but this deal has just jumped out of nowhere because nobody's seen it coming. Then it got
Do you know what
reported,
it feels like?
broke on socials. Go on.
It feels a little bit like waking up with a hangover, but knowing you had a good night.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, mate, I feel absolutely awful, but we move. That's kind of what it feels like.
Exactly that. Yeah. I get exactly what you say. They came out of nowhere. I've been crying out for us to sign a left back as much as we need recruitment all over the pitch, like from fullbacks, centre backs, midfields, defensive and attacking, right wingers, strikers. I'm just happy again that we have been linked with the left back, and it seems that the player is going to be making the final decision on it. We should really be getting, which helps. And then you add in De Jong into the mix, obviously Ivorian, you mentioned it there as well. All of a sudden, our team and the window looks so much better because it's only June and we will bring in more players. This is what I've been saying on this show and any live I've been on for the longest. For people complaining, Manchester United will sign players. We never do not sign players. I can't remember the last window where we signed nobody, especially with a new manager coming in as well. But because Ten Hag wasn't unveiled and then he didn't unveil 3-4 players, everybody's up in arms. I've said already what position those players will be, what the quality of those players will be is a whole different conversation. But I see your sign. I said 3 or 4. I did say that, and I believe so. I didn't expect a left back, though. I thought we would get a midfielder 100%. I seen a centre back and I seen a right winger. But a left back, I'm over the moon about. And Kovu, you mentioned it, and we will get onto this further. If we do actually sign Tyrell, Shaw going inside to play in a back three, which could happen. Because that's the only position I actually like Shaw in, is in the back three. That's legit. I think that's his best position as that left-sided centre back. But we're unsure what he's going to play. But off of that, before we get there, De Jong, talk to me, Kovu. Your thoughts on that deal?
I've been looking through how much it's actually costing, which is the sort of as far as I'm aware, that's the thing that's held it all up for the majority of the time. Apparently, like he was tapped up quite early on by Ten Hag. Like, it's pretty much a lot of just paper talk saying he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go, he doesn't want to go. It's basically just stories for the sake of stories, from what I can see. But yeah, I'm reading an article at the moment that came out 57 minutes ago. It's believed to be 65 million euros, 56 million plus in pounds plus performance-related add-ons. Now, something I will say about this, I can't remember the last time United signed a top-quality player in their prime, not after their prime or at their potential stage. De Jong is at the start of his prime as a playmaking central midfielder, someone who will dictate the game. By 25, and you can see what he does for Barcelona. By 25, you've normally moved into that role. You know what you're doing. You know how to control the game, and he has been doing it for Barcelona. And the exciting thing about this as a player coming in, for instance, when Pogba came in, when Sancho came in, when Depay came in, when all of these bigger money signings have come in that are meant to be like the big future of the club, none of them are at a stage yet where, well, as far as I can remember, I may well be wrong. If there's someone in the chat that wants to show me one, then please do, because I'm pretty sure there's not many I know that have come in during their prime. And what United don't need at the moment is more potential. United don't need more players that are already over the hill. What United need is prime players that you then build around with the potential coming in either side. There's a lot of conversation about blooding a lot of youth. I mean, Flawless, you know my thoughts on blooding youth. I've never seen a youth team actually work without a experienced prime spine, and that's when it works. When you have an experienced and prime spine around it, that's when youth is at its best, because it means it can try things, and then when it goes wrong, you've got the ability to kind of mop it up as you go. I think this as a signing in regards to how it will actually affect the team, a prime player coming in for relatively cheap, if we're being entirely honest, 56 million in today's market for a player of his quality, age 25. There's 7 years there. Realistically, there's 7 years. If he wants to stay for 7 years, there's 7 years of him at his best. What's that? You're looking at just trying to work it out, like 9 million a year. You're looking at
Something like that. Cheap. Yeah,
so
he's cheap.
Realistically cheap for what you're getting. I think it's exactly the sort of signing United need to be making. And again, I can understand why it's taken longer. I've got a funny feeling. Well, we all know the Haaland deal for City was worked on for like a year. That's been going on behind the scenes for ages. I don't know as much about the Nunez deal, but Liverpool typically do get deals done quite quickly, and they're the two deals that it's being compared to the most. I mean, I'm happy they've got it for the amount they have because it means there is more budget to go and spend on other players.
Right.
How much, I don't know. I'm hoping that this is the start of now at least 5 coming in because we've let nearly 5 go and we needed 5 anyway. So now we need to bring in at least 5. So I think that's the case. For me, CDM is still the most important position to bring in. I don't think we have I don't know how Ten Hag necessarily works with CDMs, but there's not been either a club to win the Premier League or the Champions League since the Premier League started that haven't had a certified DM in their team. It just hasn't happened. Every single time. It's the one position that every single team that has won something has had. And it's the thing that we're the only club in the top 10 that doesn't have a certified CDM.
Yeah. And
apart from Brighton now, but
and here's the thing with that, because I've seen reports. There's people talking about this on socials, and reports came out saying, "Oh, Ten Hag doesn't want a destroyer in a DM. He wants a more ball playing DM, or it might actually be De Jong who's the sole 6." I'm with you on that. I've been saying for the longest, crying out, go and get a more defensive minded player to play next to De Jong. Otherwise, to me, it would just be Pogba 2.0, and you're sticking him in there, and he's playing next to Mctominay, and it's kind of like we've seen this is literally a deja vu. So hopefully we do sign some form of a 6. Would I personally prefer a destroyer? Yes, but it's on what Ten Hag wants. I just want to see improvements in that area as that 6. But surprisingly enough, that's the one position we haven't been linked with. Now, you've seen left back, we've heard right back, centre back. Eriksen,
the one I've seen
he's the one. And I only heard of him because of FIFA. That's the one I heard of. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know anything about him.
84 euro card, I think it is. That's the one.
Yeah. He's quality. I was looking for a DM for United. And I was like, yo, you fit the bill in that. Like, so when someone mentioned him, I was like, oh, is that Sangara from PSV? He was like, yeah. Supposedly, actually, that being said, Ten Hag will know him coming from that league still. Similar to this deal as well. Like, he'll know players. It seems, someone said in the chat there, we might as well get, Harrison said United just need an orange kit now. It seems that way, but I have no issue with him shopping with what he's and getting what he's familiar with. If he wants to bring in Dutch players, I'm cool with that. I have no problem because he's worked with some of these players. If he's signing players from the Dutch league, he's played against them. You're seeing him minimum twice. You know what I'm saying? Minimum, you're playing against them twice. So I'm all for that because Black Diamond says is 56 million up to 50 million performance related add-ons. That is a steal. And one thing we don't associate with United recent. That's a brilliant deal if that is the case. If that is the case. How much is this deal for this fullback though? I've not actually looked at any price.
30, I'm seeing 13 and 15 are the two.
They're saying that cheap.
Saying 14.6 plus add-ons.
So they're saying between 13 and 15 million for him. All right. And one done says De Jong is going to play in the 6th flawless like how he plays for Netherlands. Here's the thing. I don't watch Holland like often. So does he play as a lone 6? Is it a double pivot? I know for Barcelona he'll play as an 8. And Busquets will play as the 6. I'm with Ten Hag. If Ten Hag trusts him enough to play as a lone 6, cool. I'm just like, do we really want to be pitching up to away at City, away at Liverpool, away in certain Europa League games with De Jong as the lone 6? It doesn't seem. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more defensively solid to me. But maybe Ten Hag's going there and he's doing the Van Gaal thing and say, right, we're going to dominate the ball wherever we're at. Maybe it's that. And that's very brave of him. You know what I'm saying? Whether it works or not is a whole different conversation, but I'm all for it because we've seen Van Gaal do that when we went to Liverpool and we battered them off the park. I think it's when Mata scored the bicycle kick.
Yeah,
and we absolutely dominated them. So if we do play De Jong as a 6, that lets me know, like, we hide like the same way we're hijacking deals. We're coming to, take over, and I'm all for this. Flex the muscles. What are you saying about this Ivorian though?
Yeah, do you see this? Yeah. I see because I can reflect on the past when De Jong was playing for Erik ten Hag and with Ajax. He technically as well played as the deep 6, the lone 6, starting the attack or spearing the attack, however you want to say it, and also dropping back to help with the defense, especially when it comes to starting up attacks. Again, I said it last week. The reason why you haven't really seen the best of Frankie De Jong at Barcelona. He naturally plays in the position that Sergio Busquets plays. And Sergio Busquets is one hell of a player, and you can't really replace him at this present time. So he missed out. When you see De Jong play for the Dutch team, he also as well operates as deep lone number 6. But as well, when he was playing at Ajax, there was always someone that was next to him who had the defensive capabilities to help him in the defensive work, because De Jong himself wasn't really doing the defensive work. He had someone else there playing with him to do all the defensive work. So we just have to hope that he might use, I don't know, God forgive me for saying this, he might use Mctominay, he might use Fred to play alongside him for someone to do the defensive. I'm hoping it probably be Fred because McTominay does hide in games. In general, we've all noticed that. No one can deny that. It's quite evidence. But we're hoping that maybe with the money that he has, he might try and find a gem of a holding midfielder. Or probably, if we're lucky enough, if James Garner is actually ready enough, which I don't feel like he is, might give him an opportunity in preseason to see whether he can play in that position. But let's just hope that Manchester United sign the DM, because the DM is necessary, because Frankie de Jong can't do it on his own. You can't play as a playmaker, deep landing playmaker against Man City, play a lone six. Man City will eat us up. They will eat us up. We definitely need a defensive midfielder, in my opinion.
And this was my concern with that. As much as I back Ten Hag, sorry to cut you off, my concern is going away to the Etihad and going, right, we're going to pitch up with a lone six, 2 8s and dominate the ball. Yeah. Like, that's a tough ask.
It's brave.
That's a tough ask.
If it works.
It's very brave. Hey, I respect if he does that, he'll go up in my estimation. Even if we get beat in the game or get battered, I'll be like, all right, at least you tried. You know what I'm saying? And at least you gave it a go and was like, you know what? We're not coming here to just sit in a low block and get on the counter attack, which again, I would have been mad at. As long as he goes with a plan. I've said this for the longest. It's all about a system. And this is why I'm so gassed about Ten Hag being here, because we now have a manager I genuinely believe in. And go, you're going to set us up. Even if you're the inferior team with inferior tools, you can set us up in a way to get a result. So I'm looking at that third game of the season at home to Liverpool and going, we can legit get something from that. Are they a better team? Absolutely. But it's like set up to do something type of thing. But go on, carry on, Ivorian.
I was saying, yeah, man. It's just that if I see him do that and he's taking risks, it's good because, of course, we've seen Manchester United play and be managed by a manager that always wore a condom when he was managing Manchester United. At times, you need to take the condom off and take some risk, bro. You know, so he got to take risks. So it'll be brave of him from Erik Ten Hag to do something. This is not made for kids. It's already there in the settings.
Hey, kids out there, make sure this is just the analogy. Make sure you practice safe sex, people. Just put it out there. Practice safe sex.
But again, when you know that person,
I think he froze in that. As he froze, I've worried a madman, yo. He'll be back, people. He'll be back. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure you do that. Oh my God, I've worried a character. He'll be back, people. He'll be back. Don't worry about that. Eddie's saying there, I think we can get up. I think we can play a back three and get away with it. And Kovu, you mentioned this. Even though Black Diamond saying he's never played free at the back, it definitely, if we do sign a fullback, if we do sign De Jong, I think it does solve the problem of the lone six if you have 3 defenders behind him rather than 2 centre backs. If it's 3 centre backs, your thoughts on that?
Again, the whole reason why Ten Hag is coming in, is to implement a system. Now, if he's coming in to implement a system he's never used before, I'd still run with it and obviously give him the time to do it. Because maybe this is the thing, and it sounds almost a bit kind of like bullish to kind of do it, but he is yet to manage in the Premier League. Like, he can see it, he can watch it, but he is yet to be there on the sideline, managing it and actually dealing with the quality that is in the Premier League day to day. When people say the Premier League's the most competitive league in the world, what they mean is the average player in the Premier League is better than any other league in the world. That's what they actually mean. The competitive nature isn't there because the 2 teams at the top are so much better than everyone else. But then 20th in the Premier League would probably finish top 10 in any other league, if that makes sense. So to kind of come into that without necessarily having any coming into that without a system that he knows inside out would be risky, but there is no doubt he is not going to have his ideal squad. He just like it's not going to physically happen. So we are likely to see perhaps Wan-Bissaka as part of a back 3. We are likely to see Shaw as perhaps part of a back 3. Like, we're likely to see this with potentially. I don't think Wan-Bissaka is going anywhere. No one wants him, so he's going to have to be. He's going to have to be played and have to be used. But I don't know. I would much rather we get the personnel and play to his system. Otherwise, it feels very repetitive of Jose, very repetitive of Van Gaal, and to an extent, very repetitive of Moyes, who only got 1 player in the first window, and that was on deadline day. So it just feels very repetitive. For once, it looks like there is actually space, wages-wise, to go and get the players that are needed. Ten Hag's, the fact that we were going after a player that's already that's about 15 mil. and it's a player that Ten Hag said he wants, says there are going to be more players for around that price range that we can go and get that are not necessarily known on that sort of world stage yet, but are doing their thing and are going to be able to do the job. If he's signing players to do a specific job, then surely he can go and get the actual personnel needed to play the system he wants, rather than trying to reutilize the players that clearly don't work in a new number of different systems. Why would they suddenly work in a new system off the back of one summer of pre-season? You know, it doesn't really make sense, and it sounds quite unlikely. But yeah, that would be my thing. And I'd just much rather we go and get the personnel. I've said for the last 5 years, United need to go and have a 300 million summer. They need to have a clear out and go and have a 3 million summer. Go and buy players in their prime. Not rely on youth, because it so rarely works realistically. When was the last time that we had a genuine youth success story at United? When was the last time?
Speaking about it was probably Rashford.
Yeah,
Who's actually had any form of success, and like, we've seen how he fell off. But when you say so, like, he's the last one who's had any form of success that actually been in the first team and impacted games and had good form and had good seasons. Obviously, we'll get on to Rashford because that's a whole nother conversation. But it's probably Rashford.
To me, it's just bizarre. Like, to kind of go, we'll bring youth players in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they'll plug the gaps. You never know, and it's such an unlikely thing that, like, for me, realistically, unless they are already doing it and have forced their way in, like Rashford did to begin with, there is no reason that youth players should be starting for United. I just don't understand why, when they can go and get the players to actually do the jobs they need.
Yeah, and you made some valid points there in regards to going to buy players that fit the system, and this is why I've gone back and forth with many people in the chat about this on the show and on various shows when people say, "Oh, there's no value in the market. You can't go and get players." Like, no one was expecting us to go and look at this fullback and look at the price that we're talking about. It seems he fits the system. We know 110% Ten Hag knows him because he's played in the same league as him. So if he didn't want him, he's not going in for him. And look at the price point he's at. So when people say, "Oh, United can't go get 5, 6, 7 players," of course you can. If you got, let's say the budget is 150 million, you can go get players to fit your system on that budget, just if you scout right and go value it. Like, obviously, you've got the De Jongs who may be more expensive. You have an Anthony who might be more expensive. But in terms of this fullback, in terms of, say, a centre back, maybe a number 6, maybe a younger striker. There's people out there, it's like when people say, me and Bainesy was having this conversation, "Oh, the striker market's dead." No, the striker market is dead to us in terms of our knowledge of the striker market. Football's played all across the world. You telling me these man can't go and scout someone and find someone who is suitable to play in the United system? Of course they can. Because every player we know of was unknown at some point. You know what I'm saying? Every single player at one point was unknown, and he wasn't a household name. Whoever you think, that Haaland at one point was unknown. You know what I'm saying? He was unknown. You didn't know Haaland, but then eventually he got to a level where he was at. And this goes for every single player as well. But I do agree with you in regards to get players that fit his system and back the manager. I've said that about Ten Hag. Even if it's players I'm not really a fan of, I'll be like, you know what, give him a shot. Like, I'm with it. And I hear you, Wondon, when you say people can't get the ball of De Jong, bro. He's a baller. I'm not doubting De Jong's skill set or ability in the lone 6. It's the players around him. That's what it is. I don't want him out there by himself. That's the issue I have. Like, don't just get one player, assist him too. You know what I'm saying? Put the best possible pieces around him to help him. But like I said, if Ten Hag wants to go with him as a lone 6, cool. But we all know our deficiencies. This is why I want us to sign Eriksen, because it's like he'd be a very useful squad player. Absolutely. Covey thoughts on that, actually. Eriksen deal.
I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest, if they can get it over the line. It's essentially an upgrade on Mata. That's near enough what it kind of is. And Mata didn't play much, but we've got rid of Pogba and Mata, who were essentially the two sort of supporting attacking midfielders in the kind of role behind Bruno. With Donny coming back in, it makes sense to bring someone in on a free that has Premier League experience, has won trophies internationally, has done well in the Premier League recently. It's just a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest with you. If they can convince him to come and be part of that squad, he brings a lot with him. And him and Brandon Williams can have a bit of a punch up on the training pitch.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the Brandon Williams situation. Yeah, 100%. And now, we use Ghana if De Jong gets injured. Yeah, man, like Ghana's not injured. I mean, Ghana isn't it? Like Covey, I'm with him on that. This whole thing about the youth players, and I'm all for giving youth players a chance, 100%. Of course. They have to be of a certain quality. We can't. This ain't no Make-A-Wish thing where it's like, because you come through the youth system, all of a sudden you get to play at Manchester United Football Club. Like, no, you should be of a certain quality. And too far often, I think, and I see this at other football clubs as well. You see it with Chelsea with Cobham, and how certain Chelsea fans will want all youth graduates, and it's the same at Manchester United. What about the quality? Are these players good enough? You know what I'm saying, I've spoken to people who watched Ghana when he was at Watford and said he ain't it. I know he did a little bit better at Nottingham, at Nottingham Forest, but it's like, do we really want to be pitching up away at the Etihad with Ghana in the midfield? Is that really a good idea? Do we really want to be playing Liverpool?
Ghana and McTominay.
Yes, but this is what some people want. That's the thing, Kofi. People would accept that and go, yeah, they want it. Yeah, they get the club. Like, they die for the badge and all this. Like, oh, are they? Can they? Yeah, that's all well and good, but can they keep hold of the ball? What's their ball retention like? That's what we need to know. I'm saying, don't tell me about, they get the club and they understand the club and they came through the youth system and they were here since they were 5 years old. That doesn't mean nothing.
That's sentiment to me.
It's all sentiment. It's how you feel like goal sign quality. That's pretty much on it. It is what it is. But Ivorian, your thoughts on I was gonna say potential back three. Yeah, we'll go there because we ain't spoke about
potential back three. You guys reckon that Ten Hag will go switch to a back three?
No, because we was talking about this before you got cut off in regards to if the fullback does come in, then you've got Luke Shaw who can play as a left-sided centre-back. You got Wan-Bissaka who can also play as a centre-back. Mctominay, who was just talking about, he plays as a centre-back for Scotland. So we're not saying he'll switch, but we're saying in certain games he may do that. It's just an option. Because then we're talking about Donny. We're talking about De Jong in the lone six. That helps him out playing in the lone six if he has 3 centre-backs rather than 2 centre-backs behind him.
Absolutely, it depends. Like I'll say it would help De Jong if maybe they were playing in a back three, because of course in a back two is quite dangerous, especially when you have our club captain Harry Maguire playing, and it's always a liability with the defenders that we have behind him, behind De Jong. So a back three could help him, which means that he wouldn't have to do that much of a defensive work. He can solely focus on playmaking from the holding midfielder role, and just help with the attack, and especially when he needs to drop deep to collect the ball off of these guys. Because again, I'm tired of seeing Maguire doing drag backs on the ball, long balls that go nowhere aimlessly. So it's about time we get someone of quality to help support. But the thing about it, the personnel is a problem because we haven't really addressed our centre back situation. I saw Phil Jones in the video yesterday and in pictures, and I just thought, really, we can tell him to go now? You didn't even need to turn up for pre-season if you're going to sell him. Make a difference there. And of course, with the fitness of Varane, we just don't know. So I feel like Manchester United should really address that centre-back position to help De Jong as well. If he was looking to go into back three, it was quite dangerous as well, with Lindelof being vulnerable physically, Harry Maguire lacking confidence, lacking pace, lacking leadership, lacking a lot of things, everything to make him a top quality player. We really got only one good centre back, and I would never want to see Scott McTominay play centre back for Manchester United because he can't do that for Scotland. A good job at that. So I just don't know, man. Playing in the back three could be dangerous as well, but as well, playing in the back four is also dangerous for the current situation that we're in. If Manchester United can sign a good quality centre back, which they should address for this summer, then I'm all up for it for a back three, especially when you want to switch in transition, especially in formations. Because I know Ten Hag, he likes to switch formation during games as well. His pattern of play changes the formations. You can start off with a 4-2-3-1, and then while you're attacking, it's like a 4-4-2 diamond. So, and when you're defending, it's probably a 3 at the back. So yeah, definitely, but it just depends on the quality at the back. I'm just not looking forward to seeing those defenders. It's needed addressing defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will talk about the defense. De Jong and Fred says Eddie, Elijah, my guy Eddie, every single time as well. Potentially right now, say we were to pitch up and it was a 4-2-3-1 and it was De Jong next to Fred and Donny's in the 10. That's a massive improvement on our midfield area. Like I said, do I believe Fred is the guy that should be starting week in, week out for Manchester United? No. Can he be a useful squad player? Yes, I believe he could be. But if we do line up with that, it would be a vast improvement. But what I prefer, an upgrade on Fred, absolutely. Go sign another midfielder. Go address the area and get whatever type of midfielder Ten Hag needs to then get the best out of De Jong. Because then if it is De Jong and Donny, that's two players he's worked with. So if you then go get a third, all of a sudden, we're looking like a much more cohesive unit. And you mentioned the defense, Ivorian. And if we're keeping the ball, it takes the pressure off the defense. Obviously, centre-back is an issue. We don't know. Varane is very injury-prone. Bailly is very injury-prone. And then the rest of our centre-backs are just not good enough. Maguire, Lindelof, Phil Jones. Am I missing anyone? Like Axel, like none of them. I'm saying out of the four of them are like nowhere anywhere near the level that we need. So it's definitely, and that's why it's good to hear us get linked with so many centre backs as well. Big up King K as well.
One thing is that
on his side. Big up
everyone keeps mentioning Fred and De Jong as a double pivot. I have this strong feeling. I just don't know what you feel, but I have this strong feeling that it would not be Fred. It will be Scott McTominay. There's something about him that all the managers like. Every manager's been there. I've always favoured McTominay to play. I don't know, because whether it's his work rate, his passion, his desire, and everything.
I used to have a theory on this. I used to have a genuine theory on why he was always pushed.
Go on. Why do you think it's
anymore? And it was to do with keeping the youth player in the starting 11.
Oh God. Oh yes.
No, because there was a period of time where Rashford was out injured for quite a long period of time, and and Greenwood was out as well. And there was a solid period of time where the only youth prospect we had who was fit and able to start was McTominay. And they wanted to keep that youth, and I had the theory of they wanted to keep that youth record going of starting a youth player in every single game for like the last 90 years or whatever it's been. I had a theory that might be why he continued to get picked, and it'd be stupid, but I wouldn't put it past the club for them to actually push that as a narrative, because it's something they hang on to, and it sells shirts at the end of the day. It's something that sells shirts. That the idea of youth and nostalgia. But I don't think that's the case as much anymore, because they are pushing other Alanga's in there now for one. For that as a scenario. But yeah, it most likely will be McTominay. I can see them still going with McTominay. I don't know what it is. Obviously, we're not professional managers. We can't see it. Yeah. But we can see how inadequate he is from watching the games and how much, again, he hides. And I'd say realistically, when I watch United, the majority of chances that go against us, or we can see when we lose possession and we are when we are defending, if a successful attack happens for the other team, it's usually because McTominay's lost his man at some point. That is usually one of the reasons. And it is usually him losing his man or him hiding. He is usually at the cause, or at least a part of one of the issues why we concede.
Yeah, I've said this all the time. Gets away with absolute, like, he gets away with crimes on that football pitch. Because one thing I forgive, like, a lack of skill. Like, if it's just a skill set and a talent issue and you're not very good, that's cool. But lack of effort, like, not trying, hiding. Like, how are you playing a full 90 minutes and you're having 30 touches a game, 40 touches a game? Like, where are you? You're playing in the middle of the park, and whether it's your partner next to you or it's the opposition, are having double. Sometimes you get me double and more in regards to touches. No way and a half in your 3 successful passes. Like, you should just be getting on the ball anyway, even if you're shifting it side to side. And that's one thing I don't forgive. And we've seen it. We've watched it happen in terms of us on the ball, him being a liability. Then him off the ball that you mentioned there, Kovu, about him being a liability. It's absolutely ridiculous. Big up Zayn, man. It's been a minute. Large up Zayn Miasi, man, with a super chat. Not seeing you in a minute, man. This guy been missing in action and that. All of a sudden, Arsenal do some biz and you back. I see you, Zayn, innit? You ain't slick. Gabriel signed for Arsenal. Gabriel hat-trick against United when you play us. Why is Gabriel going to score a hat-trick? Has he ever scored a hat-trick in his City career? All of a sudden, he's going to go to a worse team with a worse manager, with worse players around him, and start bagging more goals.
I just want
Arsenal fans the jokes.
Arsenal fans to calm yourself down. You basically signed a second or third choice striker for Man City. Even when they didn't have a striker starting, they still put him on the bench and played a false 9. And you're happy about that. Come on, Mac. There's nothing to be ecstatic about. It's not really an upgrade.
You spitting, man. He was that good a striker that he started playing out wide. You know what I'm saying? And all jokes aside, I actually think Gabby Jesus is smart business from Arsenal. All jokes aside. It's the way Arsenal fans are talking about him like he's a 20, 25, 30 goal a season, man, is the most wildest thing.
Like, this guy's the bagsman in that team that they're letting go. It's Sterling. That's the bagsman. Yes, that's the one who's got 10 plus goals for the last 7 years every season in the Prem.
That's the guy.
And
that's the guy.
I think he's the only City player to do that in the only City player in that time to have done that. So I don't know why people are hyping up Jesus more than Sterling. 50 mil that's in for Sterling. It's Chelsea. That's outrageous.
That is, see, you's preaching to the choir. I was saying this yesterday, and I've been saying this. The way people talk about Sterling is like he is Gabriel Jesus, like he is a Richarlison, like he is a Timo Werner. This is a guy who's been playing at the highest level, consistently playing at the highest level,
27.
and succeeding. And he's 27, so he's going into his prime years. And we've seen him perform at the international stage. And people are telling me, oh, he's not that good. He's just a tapping merchant, or it's all about Pep's system. But it's like, how come he gets criticized for being smart enough to be successful in a system? But then when De Bruyne plays for Belgium and he don't look like that, nobody's saying anything. Whether that's a João Cancelo for Portugal, whether it's a Diaz for Portugal, Stones for England, the list goes on and on and on. Bernardo Silva also. These players don't look like that. In 2022, football is a system-based game, people. Everybody is successful and needs a system. Everybody does. This is why Salah goes to Egypt and don't look the same.
Mm-hmm.
He goes there and plays against worse players and don't look the same. We all watch the African Cup of Nations. He does not look the same, but people will criticize Sterling because he's good enough and smart enough to take Pep's instructions on board and utilize that and score however many goals. But now he's just a back post guy. He just scores tap-ins and that. Like, he has no skill whatsoever.
It's to be a good back post guy. Do you know how difficult that is? Like, I swear to God, open goals are the hardest goals to score. I don't care what anyone says. They are literally the hardest ones to finish.
Well, yeah, he continues to get into position to score goals at the back stick. And people are telling me, someone told me yesterday when I was doing the Q&A on Twitch and was like, oh, he's not a good finisher. How is he scoring all these goals then if he's not a good finisher? Or he misses chances? Name me a striker or an attacking player that don't miss chances. Is he an elite finisher? No. Is he a great finisher? No. But is he good? Yes. You don't score 20-odd goals or however many goals he scored consistently. And people forget at Liverpool, he was doing well. And outside of the goals, like, man's a very good... People think, oh, you can only create by playing through balls and passes. You think that Sterling don't attract attention from defenders because Sterling's on the pitch. He's very good at dribbling as well. We've watched him for England. We've watched him for Manchester City. Pick up the ball and dribble and drop the shoulder. Movement is elite. Like, people want to talk about football and IQ all the time. His movement is elite. The reason why it's always at the back stick... Yes, is it part to do to the system? Yes. But if that's the case, how come Gabby Jesus can do it? If it's that easy. Gabby Jesus never scored more than 14 goals for Manchester City, but Sterling does. Big up Zane again with another super chat saying Saka, Martinelli, Jesus will have fun at Old Trafford. Season after next, we challenge. Challenge for what, Zane? What are you not challenging for? Top 4? What are you not challenging for? You know what I'm saying? And Zane, are you watching the documentary as well? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be watching the doc, man. Arsenal all for nothing documentary, man. One successful season for Arsenal.
Oh, my God.
I large up my guy Snoop. But yeah, man, large up Zane. What are you challenging for? This is what I want to know. What are you challenging for? Where else we at? Big up King K, who says Ivorian is spitting. McMayonnaise. What do you say? McMayonnaise is going to start over Fred. I think it's just more blind faith that I don't want to see Bruno or McTominay in our midfield. So I've convinced myself that is not going to happen. And it is going to be De Jong, Donny, and another, whether that's Fred, whether that's a new recruit, because I'm tired of McTominay. I'm tired of Bruno. Someone said in the chat, oh, Bruno's going to have a good season. Does he play this season? Yes, but I think he gets moved on eventually. I am not a fan. Anyone who's watched me on any lives know this. Don't understand the hype around him when people be like, and the pedestal certain Manchester United fans put him on, when they say, oh, he's done this and that, and he's led us to what? What has he led us to? Like, but we'll criticize players like, say, a Jesse Lingard, like a Pogba, or a Martial, or even a Rashford I put in that mix, who have genuinely helped us win actual trophies. But because we won some games and he got GNA, it's all hail King Bruno, next Cantona, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I just don't get it. Go over your thoughts. Talk to us on Bruno.
I think there is a potential world-class player in Bruno. I think he needs to be coached right.
Really? Talk about it.
He needs to be coached right. Who's coached him right? Who's the head coach?
No one.
For attacking systems, who's coached him right?
Yeah, I have no coach. That's facts. That's not for all of them.
And even with that, he still does get 48. He gets the most assists in the Champions League going out in like the first round. Even with that, he does get the second most chances created in a United team, which isn't creating chances. I think there is so clearly a player there for Bruno, and for what he can be. He can be that player that threads. He can be that player that comes up with the goal at the last minute. He can be the Lampard in your team. He has the ability to do it, clearly, because he does it, and he does it in a very dysfunctional team. As soon as there is a system in place, like imagine if you put Bruno into a prime Ten Hag system where everyone knows what they're doing. Essentially, he came in, and that was at a point throughout Ollie's tenure. It was entirely about moments. That's what it got called. It got called about.
Oh
moments.
yeah, it was individual brilliance.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
it always was individual brilliance. And if he hadn't have done the individual brilliance, we would have probably been down in 8th, 9th a lot of the time. But then you fast forward it another season, and suddenly other people have the individual brilliance, and it's not about playing to a system. It's not been about playing with a system at United. Realistically, at least in an attacking sense, since Fergie. It hasn't been. Realistically, Van Gaal was not an attacking coach. Jose, when he was with us, wasn't an attack. He won games, but it wasn't an attacking system. Ole was just Ole. And then Rangnick was there, obviously there to basically tell us who was terrible, which is what he's done, which I'm very happy about. But over that time period, when have we had an attack-minded coaching system? We haven't, and that's the honest. We haven't in that entire period. I still to this day, the best football United have played is since Ferguson left. The best football United have played was for the 6 months after lockdown with Ole. That was the best football United have played.
Yes, it was.
In that
Absolutely.
period of time, with a CDM behind, Pogba playing the De Jong role, and
It was Pogba, Herrera, Matic, yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was Pogba. It was Matic, Pogba, and Bruno. And it was the 6 months after lockdown when Bruno signed.
Oh, you talking about that one? I'm talking about when Oli initially. I'm talking about interim manager Oli. Go on, sorry, carry on. I stand corrected. You're right. You're right.
Talking about when after that lockdown period, over that period, United had the best attack in Europe. They had the most.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Attacking front three, because there was a moderate system there. It was the same players week in, week out. It wasn't a case, and you could see there was some level of system. That's the only time there's been any kind of systematic design. And then directly after that, the entire thing went crazy because we brought in Cavani, which I have very clear and obvious opinions on Twitter. And then Cavani came in, Martial got pushed out to the left, Rashford wasn't playing, and Rashford went and had his operation and lost all of the scenario that he was in. So the only time we've had an attacking system which worked, and clearly they were working on that over lockdown. Like, they were working on, this is the system we're going to play, and you could see. We haven't had a prolonged system since then. I think Bruno, in a prolonged system that works, where he knows what he's doing, he's not having to play hero ball the majority of the time because there's patience. There's an idea that the attack will come. The moment will come. At the moment, we don't know when the attack's going to come. So he plays hero ball half the time. Sometimes it comes off. Most of the time it doesn't, because no one else is on the same wavelength. No one's been on the same wavelength for years.
Yeah, for yonks, innit? And
so if you get someone that's actually reading if you get someone that's on his wavelength, I don't see why he couldn't be. I mean, what I presume will happen is his stats will stay the same in regards to the successes, but the failures will go down, and he'll just do stuff less. But
I hope so. We're gonna get ice cream Vansari people. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that is. Well, we get to this, big up Zayn as well. Hey Zayn, no, I asked you, Zayn. You said Arsenal are challenging. What are Arsenal challenging for? And that, like, we don't ignore questions over here on Sarcasm City TV. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And that we don't Scott McTominay. We don't hide over here. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what you are challenging for. We don't work like that. But he says the Vieira player you hadn't heard of up until you signed him. He said, third, the price is De Jong. Once we sign Rafinha, it'll be Samba football at the Emirates. Okay, Rafinha, I agree with you. I think he's a very good player in that. But the Vieira, I don't know anything about. People need to stop lying. People don't know about him. And what are you challenging for, Zayn? This is what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? Are you challenging for fourth? Is it third? Is it the league? We know you don't do Champions League because, you know, your club don't do that in their history. You know what I'm saying? And not like that European Cup spot is still empty in Arsenal's trophy cabinet. But you let me know, Zayn, I really want to know. But yeah, on the Bruno one, that's all that I do. Like, I really, really do not rate him at all. Like, you mentioned, like, his goals and his assists. Yes, he put some numbers. And my biggest issue isn't even with Bruno in terms of in the attacking third, because people talk about him playing hero ball. You mentioned it, Kofi. I was actually going through my bookmarks and I found a clip of when we played away at Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, the first leg, and he had lost the ball so many times. I actually watched the clip back. And my issue wasn't with him losing the ball in the final third. It's his carelessness on the ball in the middle third and Manchester United when he's third. We've seen him. It was it Palace the last day of the season?
Last game, Palace.
Yeah, and then he did the same thing against Watford where the throw-ins come in and he's just smashed the ball up in the air. Do I believe we get a better him because of the system? Yes, absolutely. But I believe that about pretty much all the players. All the players, bar McTominay, maybe Maguire, then I agree with that. But in terms of it, he's just too careless. He's way too careless. I have no issue. There was a stat that came out that said De Bruyne has lost the ball more than any player in Europe or something like that. And I think it was like 60, 70 odd times over a period of time. No problem with that whatsoever. But it's all about how you lose the ball. If you lose the ball trying to cross it and the cross is on, cool. But if there's a simple pass on and you try to cross it, I'm looking at you funny. And he does that far too often for me. That's my biggest issue with him. Kobe will be back. That's my biggest issue with him going.
The thing is, I'm gonna say is that, of course, we got a manager that takes zero tolerance. So with Bruno, with his careless behaviors, careless passes, I reckon it could be eradicated because of with Ten Hag. Ten Hag will probably tell him, listen, you're playing my game, you're playing our football now. You can't do the stuff that you used to do, Flawless. So that will change, man. I generally think with Bruno, it's coaching that needs someone in his ears to tell you need to stop doing this, because beforehand, you never had anyone that told him you need to stop doing this. I just want to say, Zayn, why are you trolling us? I just want to say one thing. Is that Cristiano Ronaldo in your display picture where you're out here as an Arsenal fan posing with a Manchester United player talking shit about Manchester United?
Nah, let him troll. Let him troll. So he says again, Zayn, big up for the super chat, much appreciated. Exactly. He says challenging for the league season after next. So not next season. You're saying the season after. So not 23 to 24. 24 to 25. Is that's what you're saying, Zayn? And if Arteta fails, what's Arteta failing? That's what I want to know. What is Arteta failing at? And Vieira will come in. Who? The Vieira who's on the pitch. You know what I'm saying? And that. Yeah. And Kovu said he'll be back, people. His internet just went one sec, but Kovu will be back. Big up to Kovu. Make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. I'm going to add it into the title as well as Ivorian shortly. But yeah, let me know. Like, which Vieira is the Vieira you signed going upstairs? Is he going to the dugout? It's going off the pitch onto the pitch. Like, let us know. And Eddie, yes, this is right. Hit the like, people. I don't even know how many likes we're on. Let me double check. Yeah, we're at. On mine, it's saying 40 likes.
Should be 40. 41.
Yeah, it's saying 40. Is it 41? Hit the like button on the video. Let's bump up them likes, people, as well. Make sure you do that. Yes, and Kovu is back in the building.
There we go. Sorry about that, guys.
Nah, it's all good, man. These things happen, man. Trust me. Many a time this has happened to me on live streams, but I don't know how much you caught of what I was saying about Bruno. But
I got to the point where it looked like I was running away from your point, which I really want to reiterate did not happen.
I know you're not. Yo, trust me. One thing about Kobe, people, we've had many debates on football. He don't run away in it. You know what I'm saying? He don't do the same thing and not answer questions. He don't do that. Yeah, you don't do it. But shout out Zayn, man. You know it's all love Zayn Miasi. But as I was saying, yeah, with Bruno, it's just more so. Do I believe he'll be a better player under the system? Absolutely, without doubt. But it's just more so the carelessness of it. I was saying how I was in my bookmarks and I found a clip of the game away at Atletico Madrid and he lost the ball. I think it was like 40 times. And then I'm watching and there's a way to lose the football. The same way there's a way to lose football matches. And you're getting caught on the edge of your box. You're getting caught in the center circle. Just doing careless things like at Atletico Madrid. And that's the issue I have. Because there's at times when I've seen it, and it's only been 2 or 3 games where he tightens up his game and he's not careless. Play it simple, and then when you get in the final third, do your thing. Like, that's cool. I do that. For those
do you not think that ties into having to play hero ball, though?
I don't think he has to, though. I think he chooses to do that. I don't think he has to, because I've seen him not play hero ball and be effective. There was the game, I think it was this season, and he came onto the pitch, and I think it was away at Villarreal. I think so. I can't remember, but it was and him and Rashford, and he was like, he actually came on and played well. And I'm like, because he wasn't doing hero ball. Because he don't have, to me, if you have the skill set to do hero ball, cool. He's not a Pirlo in terms of passing. If you're an incredible passer of the ball, I'm cool with you playing hero ball. If you're an incredible shooter of the football, cool. But I look at him and I'm like, you don't play well on the half turn. You're not a dribbler. You're not press resistant like that. I look at you an attacking midfielder and I'm like, you're the only attacking midfielder in the top 6 I look at and go, who is shoot first. So I'm not saying other attacking midfielders don't shoot, but his first instinct is to shoot the football, is to score goals. I need a creator in there. He don't have that creator type.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can have the amount of chances created that he does without having that creator scenario.
Here's the thing with this created chance thing. I take that with a pinch of salt because he's on set pieces, and if he crosses the ball into the box and someone heads it over the bar, that goes down as a chance created. He is on set pieces.
So are the other 3 around him.
What do you mean?
De Bruyne's on set pieces.
Yeah, De Bruyne is on set pieces.
And I think, I can't remember who's third, but I'm pretty sure third is on set pieces as well.
Yeah, like with the De Bruyne thing.
So you have to put it into the same context. He is It may not be as pretty. It may not be as slick. It may not be as sort of pristine. It may not be like a crisply hit 30-yard through ball. But effectiveness is effectiveness.
It is, but it's effectiveness to the standpoint of what again, we have done nothing with him. Like I said, I look at big games. And when I say big games, not just top opposition, I also look at games where you're needed and you go hiding. We know his record in big games against the top six. Like, we know how bad that is. Even the Villarreal final. All right, do something. Create us a big chance in this game. You got 120 minutes. Like, it wasn't just him, don't get me wrong, but this is where I'm critical of him, is when we start talking about
it's completely valid. It's completely valid.
Yeah, when we start talking about him in terms of chances creating and stuff, like, I do this all the time. Too often I see you put in poor performances. And when you're poor, you're really, really bad. Like I said, and you just don't, it is too much hero ball. It really is. And you don't have those capabilities. Like I say, you're not press resistant. You're not you're not exceptional at anything in terms of me offensively, apart from finishing. I think he's a very, very good finisher. Like, if a chance drops to him, I expect him to score. Like, in and around the box, I'm like, yeah, you'll score. But I look at you and I'm like, you're just not it. Yeah, like, you're really not. I'm just not, like, at all convinced. And it come to the point, it's still on the watch-along, people. I did the watch-along for the first game against Atletico Madrid. And it was after Atletico Madrid had hit the bar in the second. I've told this story before. In the second leg, and we're under the cosh. They hit the bar. A corner comes in for Atletico Madrid. We clear it. Bruno has the ball on the edge of the box. I'm like, I know what this guy likes, and I legit say, yo, pass it to someone in the same color shirt as you. I'm on my knees. Pause. Please do. What does he do? Shank it with his left foot out of play. Too often he does this, and that's just one instant. That's what I'm saying, and that, like, you are way, way, way too careless, and you're not good enough to be careless. If you was doing the business up the other end of the pitch, I go, you know what? I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, all right, cool. But I hope you're right, Kofi. And he is.
You know what? The only thing
I genuinely believe that under Ten Hag, you'll see a better Bruno.
You'll see
a less careless Bruno. You'll see someone that will probably get more involved in the game and create many chances. I reckon he'll be the one that will be giving the final balls in. Those spams that he's been whipping in those crosses may convert into goals next season with Ten Hag's football. It's built for him to get as much assists and as much goals the way Ten Hag plays. But I'll let you finish it off, because I genuinely believe that he'll improve.
The only thing I'll say is he's had one period of time where he has had a set system to play in, and that set system was for the 6 months where he came in. After that, Cavani came in, the front three is completely disrupted, and then we've had this season, which is a write-off for every player under the sun. Yes. So realistically, the one period of time where he's had a 6 months of consistent playing in a system where he knows the attackers, when it was Martial, Greenwood, and Rashford, all of them playing in with Pogba going past him, during that period was the best he's been. And he wasn't necessarily careless. There were a few chances. Obviously, everyone makes mistakes on the football pitch, but he was nowhere near as careless as he is now. And that's because I think when you break down what's going on now, no one really has a clue what they're doing. They clearly haven't been coached properly. And his first instinct as a player, which a good coach would coach out of him, is to come up with something fantastic. You get it with star players all the time. And the best players in the world are able to have that mentality of, I need to do something special. They get it coached out of him. You saw it with Pogba when he was at United for the first season. He just kept trying to do hero stuff. And then he started to fall back and he went too far the other way. But you see it with big players all the time. When they join for like either big money or they join and they're supposed to be a spark, they presume naturally, as people do, that's their job 24/7. It's not in their head to play simple. And with a good coach, that a good coach will coach that out of a player. They'll change the mentality.
I hope, you know what? I hope you're right. As much as I disagree, I hope you're right. Because at his age, I don't think it is. But I believe most players, like 99% of players, will be better with the system around him. One thing I always go with the system. Yeah, with systematic is talent. That's why I'll always give players a chance. And I look at you, I just don't think he's that talented. That's legit what it is. When I look at his attributes from an attacking standpoint, I'm like, minus the finishing, you don't excel at anything. And that's it. And I'm just not just this. I'm critical of, no, not critical. I assess all players like that when we're talking about it. And I look at Bruno and I go, finishing fantastic. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if a chance falls to him, I'm surprised if he misses. He rarely misses the target as well. But I'm looking at it and go, yeah, you are not it. Like, I'm not. Like, if we sold you, do you go to a team on par with us or do you go below? I don't think he goes up. I legit don't. If we were to put him on the transfer market right now, People will try and make jokes about Pogba going to Juventus. That's a team who are trying to challenge for their domestic league and looking at winning the Champions League. That's their aims. To me, Bruno don't go to a team like that. He goes to either a team level with us.
I think he does. I think he does.
Who do you think he goes to?
I could see him going PSG. I could see him going PSG. I could see that being a move. I could quite easily see it. I could see him. Yeah, I could definitely see him going Barca.
Hey, that's making that move. Yeah, if Barcelona wanted him, they would have tried to get him in this swap deal. You know what I'm saying? And we want De Jong. They would have been like,
Barcelona went for Maguire.
Yeah, they asked for Maguire.
So actually, I want to address that. Barcelona
before you continue on that, 1 second. Let me just get to this from Zayn, and then we'll address that. I've already inspired. If it was for Ronaldo, you would have finished mid-table. You are a one-man team like Spurs with Kane. That's incorrect, Zayn. You know what I'm saying? And that, like,
Spurs have two players. It's definitely incorrect.
Yeah, Spurs have 2 players. Number one, I'm saying we're not going to forget Son. We're not going to forget Son. That's one thing we're not doing. And number 2, like, we're not like, yo, we would not, whatever, Zayn, innit? When you lot go out in your, whatever, man. We'll book you in the Europa League, Zayn. You know what I'm saying? When we see you lot in the Europa League, we're going to move to you, man. Big up, Zayn. But yeah, go on, get to it. Even though it's absolute nonsense, we'll talk about it. Maguire supposedly wanted by Barcelona.
I actually thought it was a joke. I thought if they actually included Maguire, they probably would have asked for more money, like give us 100 million, then we'll take Maguire off of your hands. It didn't make no sense for someone that's had a horrible season. But I can understand Maguire probably as centre back will be useful for them for his ball distribution, as they say. He's fantastic on the ball. He can distribute, very good in the air, and probably a defender that Barcelona would like. And on top of that, it's La Liga. You know, it's quite a bit of a slow-paced league, not as slow as the Serie A. So it kind of makes sense. But as well, you just have to look at it thinking, why really?
Yeah, it's nonsense.
I don't know how you felt. Like, you guys need to tell me how you feel.
It's nonsense. But as soon as I seen it, I was like bored. I'm like,
I thought it was a Paddy Power tweet.
Yeah, it's one of them fake ones. Yeah, it's like
it must be fake.
What people need to realize is that journalists ain't content creators like us three here. Mm-hmm. They need stories to print. You know what I'm saying? And that they can't just have a conversation and in an article. So they need to print news stories, and it's not every day there is transfers news in the transfer window. People, the window's open a long time. Not every day something happen. So eventually they just have to make stuff up.
Well, it's in 7 papers.
Yeah. And it's just one of them. Like, all right, what can we do? What can we say? Similar to what Talksport do, where they'll have someone have a controversial take and it will go viral. I've never seen a Talksport clip go viral and it's something sensible. Whether I agree or disagree with it, it's always something wild like, oh, United should have took Southgate over Ten Hag. Like, it's always something like that. Like, and this is the newspaper equivalent. Maguire to Barcelona. What? Don't even make sense.
That's a FIFA career mode transfer that happens in the background. It's a deadline day FIFA career mode transfer. Season 6.
So your 6-7 seasons in, I was going to say that. That's exactly what it is. But what? Maguire to what? Maguire, what? Like, they ain't trying to sign. I swear they've got AC. There's Aspilicueta, who they've also signed. PK still there. They signed a lot of players, and all of a sudden they're going to go, you know what? That's who we need. Harry Maguire.
It makes no sense.
It makes 0 sense on any front.
Maybe because they want to emulate the badge of Barcelona with that little English crest there on the side. But let's get an English player. That's the only way it can make sense.
When was the last time Barcelona had an English player?
Gary Lineker? That's the last time I remember.
Probably Gary Lineker. It's probably Gary Lineker. Yeah, you're right. It probably is Gary Lineker. And that Black Diamond says it was debunked by every credible media outlet. Only a fool would believe Barcelona wanted Maguire. Yeah, man. You know what that is? That's just like Roy Keane said in the Sky Studios. We're up here trying to do a little bit of PR. That's what they're trying to do. It's just the PR for him. Trying to help him out. Oh, Barcelona wanted him. Because we all know how bad he is. That's what it is. And we all know eventually, it won't be this season. Eventually, Ten Hag is going to move him on. He is going to get phased out because he's not good enough. He's not. Will he be phased out this season? No. Because of the amount of players we've let go, you can't replace 20 players. But it's just, I seen it and I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? And that, what? Like, that was the wildest one. I've seen some wild ones like United, Ox to Manchester United, Mason Mount to Manchester United, but Maguire is the one that tops it. You know what I'm saying? But this is typical United people. For those that knew, this happens every single summer. We get linked with everybody. And it's gonna keep happening. There'll be more ones. Maguire to Barcelona, crazy.
I remember when I was younger, I had all of the season review DVDs. I don't know if everyone else had them as well, but I had the 96-97 one. And there was a flash section in the middle of it, I think 3/4 of the way through, where it went players United were linked with. And it was just like this roller deck of every single player from like 96-97 who would have been in the World 11 at ×3. And I just remember it. And I remember seeing that when I was younger, and I was going, we were never linked with David Trezeguet properly. Like, it was a paper story. We weren't linked with Thierry Henry before he came to Arsenal. We didn't get linked with Taribo West. Like, this is all nonsense. And ever since then, it's just been like, until it's like a continued 6-week trial, I don't believe there's any actual interest.
Absolutely, and that's where it stems from. You lot, make sure you get the likes up as well, and continue to get your questions in. Please keep them Manchester United related as well. But yeah, it's absolute nonsense. Before you go though, Kofi, I know you got cut out. Anthony,
Yeah, got an interview today.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, man. I know you got business to handle quickly before you go. Anthony, talk to us.
I mean, it's again, the one position I would say that is volatile coming from the Dutch league is wingers, because they sometimes work, they sometimes don't. It's the one position strikers tend to tend to stay at the same kind of level. And we've seen that over the years with so many kind of strikers, even the likes of Suarez being involved in that. Like, they come from the Dutch league and they come over. Like, if you're matured in the Dutch league, you tend to adapt quite well to the Premier League. The only position it doesn't have like a high success rate with, it does tend to be wingers. However, Anthony, from what I've seen of him, he does look good. It's a very sort of typical, I'd say, mid-range winger signing. 40 million for a decent quality winger now is pretty much standard. I'd say you're not going to get like a winger for less than that realistically. And I keep saying 40 million as the amount that's banded about. Again, it's a player I don't really know the ins and outs of. I don't really know in and out. I think it's a risk. I think a winger is always a risk. It's the one position, again, in general, I think it's the one position that, regardless of where they come from, you never know. You never really know with a winger. Like CDMs, you kind of know. Like centre backs, you kind of can sort of tell most of the time. Fullbacks, you can usually tell. But wingers, attack-wise, you just never know, because it's a position where you don't necessarily have to score goals. You don't necessarily have to get assists. You just have to look intense. And you kind of get a lot of plaudits coming your way. So you never actually know whether they'll deliver, especially from the Dutch league. So, I don't know. It's my honest opinion. I genuinely do not know. So I feel to put an opinion on it would be false.
No, that's fair enough, man. And that's what I like. You know what I'm saying, man? It's honest when he's saying, I don't know a lot, because I will do the same as well. You don't make out. But you lot, make sure you subscribe to Kofu's channel as well. The link is in the title, Cubcam TV. You can go find him over there doing lots of music related. So make sure you do that. Like I said, it's literally in the title, as well as Ivorian's channel, Red United TV. Make sure you head over there. You can click both links. Go and subscribe over there. Cubcam, like Kofu got... Yeah, me big subscriber base. Watch our times. I see him do big numbers and that. Like I said, radio host. You know what I'm saying? DJ, the whole nine and that. But anything blessed for jumping on. Anything you want to add, and let the people know where they can find you as well.
Literally everything at Cub KXVU on socials. Thanks for watching. And I want to reiterate, I said there is a world-class player in Bruno, not that he is a world-class player at the moment. There's a difference.
The chat on you, yo. The chat on you, man.
There is a big difference. Name me a single world-class player that doesn't have a system around him, and that's me.
All right, big up Kobe every time, man. Definitely will bring you back, man. Salute.
Please do.
Every time. Yeah, man, 100%. And anytime you want to jump on, shout me, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Anytime. Love every time. Bless. Big up. Like I said, people, go subscribe to his channel. The link's in the title. Go subscribe to Red United TV as well. Me and Ivorian go keep the show going as well. What is your ideal starting 11? UC vibes? Elaborate on that. Are you talking about with our current team? Are you talking about with potential signings?
I reckon.
And where's Zayn? Hold up. Zayn, why you got missing, fam? Where you at, Zayn? You know what I'm saying?
Well, at least does the generous thing, drop some money and cuts.
Yeah, but he went missing. No. It's ain't about the money. It's like, why you go missing? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to talk Arsenal no more. You pulled up to our block. You pulled up to the ManDem United block, Manchester United show. You can see the logo in the background. I want to talk Arsenal. Where you at, fam? You know what I'm saying? I don't see you. I've not seen you in Yonks. And all of a sudden, Arsenal do get me. Sign this Vieira guy. Sign Jesus. You know know what I'm saying? Sign the guy Sterling had on the bench. You get me? The guy who was a striker that was so good he played out wide, and all of a sudden he wants to pull up. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Where you at, Zayn? Where you at? But yeah, UC Vibes, talk to us in terms of what's your ideal starting 11. Elaborate on that.
I think he's talking about transfers in terms of dream starting 11.
Talk about him. Talk about it. So dream 11. We'll go with you, Ivorian. Talk.
Definitely. In terms of signings, for the players that we're looking at right now, definitely we start with the goal, of course. The ideal starting of the here and goal, of course. A new right back. I just don't know who will be that right back. That one's a question mark there. A blank face. Centre back, Varane, and a new centre back. Blank face there. And then left back, of course, we're gonna go with who we're signing right now. Terrell, whatever his name is, we can't.
Yeah, I just call him Tyrell in it because I don't want to butcher his surname, so I just call him Tyrell.
In the midfield, we're going with a 4-2-3-1 because that's what Manchester United are used to right now. Double pivot. I'm going for of course, Van der Beek. I want to see Van der Beek and Dion play as double pivot, because I just want to go all out attack in lesser games. That will be my ideal midfield. The three, according to links, Anthony, of course, Bruno Fernandes, regardless of whether Mr. Take Note doesn't like Bruno, doesn't matter. He will be starting regardless, you know it. And of course, Sancho up front will be another player that Mr. Take Note doesn't really respect anymore. The greatest of the all time, Cristiano Ronaldo. That would be my ideal starting 11 because, of course, I can't go with wishing for players that will never ever come to Manchester United. It just doesn't make no sense. I'm going for what we're linked with right now. What about you?
All right, so ideal 11. The hair and goal, right back. I'm fine with Delo. If we don't sign a right back, I'm cool with Delo. I'm a fan of Delo. Delo, Varane, new centre back, 100%. New left back, 100%. In the midfield, 4-2-3-1. New number 6, more defensive minded. De Jong next to him. Donny in the 10. New right winger. If that's Anthony, cool, but new right winger. Left Sancho. Up front Martial. That'll be mine. That would
you
be.
Going with the Martial up front?
I'm going with Martial up front. Martial, Sancho, Anthony. Woo! Anthony, Jaden. You know what I'm saying? And that. Anthony and Anthony. Like, yo, that
Anthony
is
square plus Jaden.
Yo, man. Anthony, Jaden, Donny, and De Jong. With Delo on a new fullback. Like, we'd be saucing.
But you really don't think Ronaldo, as a player as he is, as a poacher, as a finisher, with all that creativity in that game, the Ten Hag system does not suit a poacher.
Back to what I was saying about systems and mod. I keep saying this, and me and Bainesy got into this. Ronaldo is not a modern day striker. He's not. Yes, and here's when I say this: if you can't play as a false 9 in 2022, I don't want you in my starting lineup. Simple as that. Like I'm not saying I want our striker to play a false 9. My point is, I don't want a striker that can't play. Same way I don't want a fullback who can't attack. It's the same type of thing. That's what I'm looking at is like will Ronaldo score goals? Yes, because he's a goal scorer, without question. I think we could get Lukaku into Ten Hag's system, and Lukaku would score goals. But I don't want Lukaku in the team. And this has been my whole point. And me and Bainesy got into it with the whole Ronaldo to Chelsea thing, which we can actually touch on as well. Ronaldo needs Chelsea more than Chelsea need Ronaldo. I was saying it to Lewis and other Chelsea fans, Colzilla, who were like, yeah, I want Ronaldo. He's Lukaku 2.0. Will he score more goals? He's Super Saiyan Lukaku. Will he score more goals? Yes. But all the issues that they have in regards to they had with Lukaku, they'd have with Ronaldo in terms of link-up play. Ronaldo, outside of goal scoring in 2022, Ronaldo doesn't excel. And that's the key word, people. That is the word of the day. You know what I'm saying? That is the word of the show. And I'm talking about certain players and actually, what do you excel at? Outside of goal scoring, Ronaldo does not excel at anything else. It's a fact. And people don't like me saying it because it's Ronaldo. And I use this analogy when I was on Unfiltered Podcast. Shout out to Saeed, James, Andy Tate. Make sure you check that out on Sundays, people. Great show. Ronaldo is that legendary rapper who's sold millions of records, who's cold. And he's dropped a new album and the album is not good. But because we rate him as a rapper, we don't want to. It's like Tupac coming back from the dead. No matter what the album saying in regards to what the album's saying, people are gonna rate it 5 stars before they listen to it because it's Tupac.
Like Drake's
People
new
don't want to. People don't want to say that Tupac has got a bad album. And James made the point. Oh, it will have a couple bangers on there. Yeah, it would because Tupac's an exceptional rapper. But we don't want to do that. We don't want to discredit our legends. It's like 50 Cent's my favorite artist. If he dropped a mixtape or an album that was poor, it would be very hard for me to say it's a poor mixtape or album because that's my favorite artist. And this is Ronaldo. His latest release ain't it, but people don't want to admit it. Drake's a prime example. I've not heard the Drake album. I've listened to Drake.
It's all right.
I've not listened to Drake, but guaranteed because Drake has such fans, it doesn't matter what Drake puts out. They're gonna have that. Certain people have certain fan bases where when their fan base will stand them, it's like Eminem. Eminem puts out, he's still gonna sell records because he's Eminem. It could be a blank CD, and they'll sell it like 50 Cent said. He'll sell 1 million before people go, right, it's not working. Mine's blank, is yours blank? Before people realize it's a blank CD. That's legit where it stands from. Ronaldo's just not it in 2022, people. And people hate that. People just can't admit it. Because if he left, he's not been that guy in the longest. If you are trying to compete at the top level in terms of domestic leagues and Champions League, Cristiano Ronaldo is not it. That's why would Chelsea go for him? When is the last time Ronaldo competed at the highest level in the Champions League? When he left Real Madrid? When did he leave Real Madrid? 2017? 2018? And we're now in 2022. So this guy's not competed for 4 years. And he's getting older and he's approaching 40. And people think he's the guy to take us forward. Here we are in it. You lot learn the hard way in it. I said all this last season and people wanted to hate on me. And look what happened.
No, I can completely understand because I see the deficiencies. I'm not someone that refuses to I'm not a Ronaldo fanboy like that to just refuse to listen to the deficiencies. Because I can see it while I watch the games. It's not really hidden. It's quite clear. But as well, I still believe under a great system that relies on just creating chances after chances, you need a finisher like Ronaldo to just be there at the end. He doesn't have to do that much running. He doesn't need to do all the running. He can do some running, especially in the final third. He doesn't have to just press as much as the others press. But you can sacrifice that as long as Ronaldo gives you goals, and we all know that. Again, I still believe that Ronaldo's got a big part to play at Manchester United next season and will definitely be involved in the goals. You might be surprised, Flawless, that Ronaldo ends up scoring 30 goals on this wonderful system.
Right. If you score 30 goals and we finish 6, it don't matter.
Yeah, absolutely doesn't matter.
If we finish 6 and don't win no trophies, it don't matter. Now, if we finish 4th and we win the Europa League and he scores 25 goals, different conversation. Because people keep saying this is what I don't get. And Peter made the point. Shout out to my guy Peter as well. In regards to Ronaldo, if it was the case, it was true that his agent was talking to Chelsea. He's a part of the reason why we're in the Europa League. You're a part of the team. All of a sudden, Ronaldo's not held accountable. Let United won the league last year. Would Ronaldo get the praise? Absolutely. So how come when we finish 6th and have a poor season, he doesn't receive criticism? Nah, you're a part of the team. Are you the biggest problem? No. Were you most at fault? No. But that's why I don't like. You can't have it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's not, we played well, United did well, all hail Ronaldo. But we played poor and have a poor season, have our worst ever season. You're a part of that. Bruno's a part of that. But people don't want to hold these players accountable for that.
Bruno's is hella accountable because he costs us.
As is Ronaldo. You're a part. This is a team sport. And this is my biggest issue is like people act like everyone, Ronaldo's no problem. It's everyone around him. No, Ronaldo's he's 37, 38. He's not it. But again, people will say, I'm wrong. I'm hating. I'm being negative. Go back last season on these very shows and when me and Bainesy, when it was announced and I said we're doing nothing this season. Ronaldo was not needed. We should have never have signed him. Has Ronaldo been a success so far? No, he hasn't. Ronaldo's not been a success here. I'm talking from a team perspective. Has Ronaldo, football is a team sport. Has he helped the team? No. People talk about goals. He's just the new age Van Nistelrooy. He's the new age Van Nistelrooy. For those that are not old enough, Ruud Van Nistelrooy is one of the best strikers I've ever seen at Manchester United. One of the best finishers the Premier League has ever seen. Yeah. He, under the Fergie era, I think his goals to games ratio is the best of all the strikers we've had. So Bernard Cantona, Coles, York, Sheringham, Ollie, Van Persie, Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo, the list goes on, all the great strikers we had. But guess what? Van Nistelrooy United were better for Van Nistelrooy then Van Nistelrooy was better than for United. Because you know what we did when we sold him and we lost all them goals? We three-peated and won the Champions League.
Yeah.
But it's about the team. And he was a detriment to the team. Because you know what Van Nistelrooy was? He gave you goals and not really much else. But he was at a better level. That Van Nistelrooy is at a better level than Ronaldo is now. Yeah, the team's much better. The manager's much better. That's a whole different conversation. But my point is, it's a team game. Sometimes you gotta lose. Sometimes you gotta lose some battles to win the war. I wouldn't see Ronaldo as a loss. I said it when it came out. I said if Chelsea want Ronaldo, take him. I'm cool with it. I know Ivorian disagrees. I'm with it. If he wants to leave.
It's not that I disagree. As long as we have the ideal replacement that can be involved, a complete number 9, as you said before. Because I'm always interested in a complete number 9 that can get himself involved in the game, build up, and also score goals and score spectacular goals and take on players as well. I'm all up for that. So I wouldn't really completely disagree, but I still believe that Ronaldo can still bring in something to Manchester United under Erik ten Hag. You know, we shall see next season whether he can do it or not, but I strongly believe he will. That's all. That is all. But I get where you're coming from.
In the right role, and I agree with you to an extent that I've said this, in the right role, yes. And you'll hear me say that a lot for those that are new here. When we talk about players landing at Manchester United, we talk about current players. I'm always like, most players I would like at Manchester United in the correct role. That's what it is. Like when you hear me talk about Eriksen or Cristiano Ronaldo, I mentioned it already on this show with a Fred. When we was linked with Kante, and people was turning their nose up at Kante. And I was like, what? And I'm like, is Kante of old? No. Is he declining? Yes. But would I take him in the correct role, on the correct wage, with the correct transfer? Absolutely. Because then you have a Kante and an Eriksen off the bench. Because Kante is not finished at the top level. I think he's finished as a first teamer, playing at the highest level. But guess what, people? We're even at the highest level anyway. We're a Europa League team. We need to stop talking like we champs. We ain't Champions League. We're a Europa League side. We are currently, as it stands, the 6th best team in the country. Now, do we want to climb and aim to be the 1st best? Yes. But you have to get players in. Does Kante improve us as a squad player? Yes. And people forget we're in 4 competitions. There's a lot of games to be played. So I'm not saying Kante should play week in, week out if we were to sign him. I'm saying having Kante and Eriksen on the bench is a very good bench option. Same way Kante, I believe, would be a good bench option for a Chelsea. He'd be a good bench. Well, he starts for Arsenal. He'd be a good bench option for Chelsea. Look at Liverpool's midfield. You telling me he's not a good bench option for Liverpool?
No, he is. He's a good bench option for many teams as well, man. But we shall see in it. Like, again, I'm still under the belief that he will do well under Erik ten Hag and get the goals that we need. Because apart from that, looking at our transfer budget, if we focus mainly on our defense, our fullback, centre midfielder, and probably a winger that can also play up front, we wouldn't. I don't see us getting another striker, an out-and-out striker, until the following season. I'll be honest with you, because we do have players who can play in that position. You just brought up Martial. Martial might have a bit to play for Manchester United next season. Look at Rashford. I'll never want to see him up front because he's horrible if he's back to goal. But he can also play up front there as well. So if Anthony does come in, he can also play up front. So we've got options, but I don't see Manchester United getting an out-and-out striker this summer. Unless we sell.
And yeah, Black Diamond, you need to allow Bainsy because he may not know about Van Nistelrooy. That's just the age thing. That was the age thing, so he may not know. That's what it is. And King K said, did y'all hear about Chelsea? Crazy. What happened with Chelsea?
No, I think he's talking about the Ronaldo situation with Chelsea.
Okay. This is the way he said this, like something that I thought something that broke recently. But before we close out, hit the like button on the video, people. I know we've gone over 40 likes. Hit the like button. Don't forget as well, if you want to join the membership, the link is underneath in the description. I'm actually going to, if you want to join the membership, many great perks. How you get on shows, plus more. If you want to get on Sarcasm City TV, that is a way via the membership, and it supports the channel further. But how you support for absolutely free, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV. Hit the notification bell as well. And big up to anyone who may be listening to this on the audio platforms, SoundCloud, Spotify, or iTunes. Don't forget you lot, or anyone who may be watching this back on YouTube as well. And we got to the 50 piece. Let's get it. Let's get it. Talk to Ivorian. Anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing at all, man. That is it for today, man. We've spoken about Anthony. We've spoken about De Jong. We've spoken about Tyrell and also Maguire for some reason. But it is what it is. We are all topics out until the next show. You know what I'm saying?
I believe we are. And there it is, people. It's in the chat. The membership is there. Get your final few questions
also,
in.
how much is the membership, Flawless?
So it varies. There's different tiers. So if you want to go at the cheapest tier, which is only the small price of $1.99, you know what I'm saying?
That's
It's
one piece of
$1.99 a
chicken
month.
and chips, guys. You guys can
That's
afford to give man one piece of chicken and chips a week.
Chips,
So
that's
it's
$1.99.
nothing much.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to splash out and go even further and get even better perks, tier 1. So if you don't want to just be a Sarcasm citizen and you want to be a Sarcasm City soldier, believe that one is $4.99. Now, if you want to go for the big one and go for the gourmet, the big deal, the Sarcasm City General, where not only do you get the Sarcasm City General perks, the Sarcasm City Soldier perks, and the Sarcasm Citizen perks, believe it is $25.99, people. But that's if you want to do that. Many great perks, people. Like I said, including how to get on shows, on Q&As, how your comments take priority like a super chat so we get straight to your questions, how to take priority on the fan calling shows as well when you call in, plus more, people. So many great perks. Go check it out. Well, like I keep saying, and if you want to support for absolutely free, hit the like button, share across all the socials, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure you go subscribe to Red United TV. Link is in the title. And subscribe to Colview's channel. Link is in the title as well. Cubcam TV. I think that's it. Don't worry about the noise, fam. It's calm. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about Ivorian. But I think that's it. We covered everything because we spoke on Tyrell, we spoke on Jong, we spoke on Eriksen, we spoke on Ronaldo, we spoke on Anthony. One last thing, Martinez. That's one thing we haven't spoken on.
Oh yes, is it Lisandro Martinez?
Lisandro Martinez, yes, from Ajax. Another former Ajax centre back we've been linked with, left-footed. I don't know a lot about it, so I just skim through this quickly. But I just know he's better than Maguire, and I know he's better than Lindelof. Get him in. And Ten Hag knows him.
I've never seen him defend, but get him in. You get me? You get me? That's how it is for Manchester United. Just get him in. If it's a difference, makes a difference. He's got pace. He's good on the ball. He can intercept. He can actually see out potential threats and etc. Read the game really well. Where our defenders lacking in that kind of situation, get him in. Like, really do get him in. And the difference is because he's an Argentinian, they're a bit fiery. And I like that as well. I need an aggressive defender as well to complement Varane, because Varane isn't as aggressive as he's supposed to be. So get him in. And that's legit. Large up to King K in the cut. He says, big up guys, love. Big up Flawless, big up to you lot. What have we got coming up today? Actually, before I get to that, Ivorian, what have you got coming up? Let them know. Let them know what you got coming up today or for the rest of the week. In terms of me, expect something from me this week. As soon as we sign De Jong or anyone that we sign, you will see a reaction video uploaded on YouTube. Trying to think about going back to doing some live streams for live transfers, but I haven't really made up my mind. And then probably resuming and bringing back the catch-up on Monday. No, I know I should get it done, but it's the time and everything. We'll see what happens. But guys, definitely you'll see a reaction video. Of course, you got your WWE, what's Money in the Bank coming soon, so you'll get the reaction video for that. For those who love wrestling, big wrestling fans, so make sure you wait for that as well. Tune in for that as well. But that's about it. What's coming on Red United TV?
There we go. In regards to Sarcasm City TV, nothing more on the YouTube, but on the Twitch, we got 2 shows, people coming up. So we'll have the Sarcasm City Sports Q&A, probably 11 p.m. And then either 12:30 or 1, so an hour and a half, 2 hours after that, we will have the fan calling show. And the fan calling show is open to everybody, people. So I'll put the link out. There's legit only 2 rules. 1, once you join, you must have your camera on, people. Your camera must be on, facing forward. And again, that's not because we care what you look like, because we don't. It's safety protocols. We've seen what happened to Saeed. We've seen what happened to Matisse. We've seen what happened to Tobes. We're not trying to see anybody's private parts, people. We're not trying to see anybody's genitalia. We ain't trying to see anybody's titties, male or female. So camera on, facing forward, and it's safety protocols. So if you are camera shy, that's just unfortunate, people. But we have to do this because we can't trust everybody. We've seen what's happened to the free content creators I just mentioned there. And also when you join as well, just make sure you have something to talk about. That's what it is. So you can ask us one question. You may want to get something off your chest and go on a big rant. You may have a question specifically for me. You may have a question specifically for one of the other panelists or something like that, or want to question me on something I said. So yeah, fan calling show. King K, someone who's called in before. Black Diamond's another one. So yeah, make sure you call in tonight, people. But make sure you get over to the Twitch as well, Sarcasm City TV. And Labib says Varane is a soft beta male tax. I don't think Varane's soft. That's just the way he defends. He's not soft. I disagree with this. He's just never been an aggressive centre back. He's just calm, composed. That's all he is, and sweeps up. I don't think he's soft. I never see him shying away from anything. I don't think he's soft.
No.
And big up Surfer as well says, King K was referring to Chelsea have apparently agreed a 55 million fee with Leeds for Rafinha, according to that's a bad boy deal. If that's the case, that is a bad boy deal for Chelsea. If Chelsea get Rafinha and get Sterling, they back in business.
Yes,
They get Rafinha, Sterling, a couple centre backs. They on job. They on job. That's very, very smart business. You gotta give Chelsea that props if they sign Rafinha and Sterling. They do need a striker still, but those two, adding a couple centre backs next to Thiago Silva. You got Reece James Chilwell as your fullbacks. You still got Kovacic and Jorginho and Kante in your midfield as well. They balling.
And that's Arsenal in the mud as well.
Oh, I hope
Zane.
Where
is Zane when this news come out, bro?
Yes.
Where are you, bro?
That's valid point. Zane, if you're watching this live or watching this back right now, hold that, fam. Hold that. Man was talking about Rafinha just earlier in the chat. Hold that, Zane. You know what I'm saying? Hold that. Oh, I hope it says Arsenal fans. The Q&A just got much more interesting. Love that. You know what I'm saying? Give me something to talk about now. But yeah, we're going to close out the show, people. Love to everyone that's locked. The ManDem United podcast is back Thursday. Check out the upcoming live stream schedule. Lets you know all the shows that are coming up. And this has been the ManDem United podcast on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Big up for tuning in.